Good evening. We start here tonight. The National Association of Automobile Manufacturers in South Africa has welcomed the electric vehicle white paper that was released by the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. The body's CEO, Mikel Mabasa, says the white paper will give clear directions on the production of the vehicles and help transform the industry into a green one.
Well, South Africa could start producing electric vehicles as early as 2026, and this comes after the Minister from the Department of Trade, Industry and Competition, Ibrahim Patel, launched or outlined the EV roadmap as well as the commercialization strategy for hydrogen in the country. And to talk us through and give us some detail around that, I am now joined by the CEO at naamsa, and that's Mikel Mabasa. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, long-awaited roadmap to just get some details on how South Africa will go along moving towards electric vehicles. The report or the white paper released today, could you talk us through how naamsa is receiving that?
Well, firstly, we welcome this early Christmas present from the Minister, absolutely. It has been a long journey. I think we've been waiting with bated breath for the government to obviously confirm a very firm policy pronouncement in relation to how electric vehicle production in the country is going to be supported. And I think this white paper is absolutely long awaited. It is definitely going to give all our investors in the country that level of certainty so that they can be able to bring their investments into the country.
Accelerating fast enough for us to meet, European nations moving away from internal combustion vehicles by 2035. That's around the corner.
Absolutely. And I think the challenge we've had for the longest time is that many of our biggest markets, Europe, the United Kingdom, the United States, and many other markets have already given us notice that the vehicles that we produce in South Africa will no longer be allowed to be exported into those particular markets because they've reduced quite very significantly their carbon footprint targets, and they're expecting obviously South Africa as a producing nation to be able to bring electric vehicles into those markets. Primarily because also if you look at South African production capacity, 64% of what we produce currently in the country goes out of the country as internal combustion engines, and we do not want to miss those markets.
Now, Minister Patel outlined that it will be phased out or two phases, one focusing on ramping up that production, but the other also looking at the markets and just enlarging the South African markets. Talk us through both, how we're working on ensuring that we have that production capacity and that jobs are not lost in the industry, but also bring on those consumers in the local markets as well.
So the phases that the Minister has announced this morning, the first one is obviously production support, where all the production is going to be, the support is going to be given to those vehicle manufacturers in South Africa, and to also stimulate and also encourage those who want to come and produce vehicles in South Africa to be able to do so, because they know that there's a very stable public policy environment that they can be able to count on. The second phase is obviously to stimulate demand, because we obviously want to have vehicles that are produced in South Africa to be also bought by South Africans. It's one thing to produce a car that goes out of the country and be enjoyed by other people in other markets. We also want our own people in South Africa to really be able to enjoy the fruits of their own labor in the country. And we're very excited that the Minister has not closed that particular opportunity to stimulate demand for new vehicles in the country.
And as we're starting to see the rollouts as well of those charging stations, we hopefully should get more South Africans on board. Thank you so much for those insights, Mike. And of course, that is Mikel Mabasa, who is the CEO with naamsa, just talking us through how the association is receiving that EV roadmap out of the DTIC, as well as the hydrogen commercialization strategy. For Newzroom Afrika, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Pretoria.